welcome back to the Better Call Sukan podcast. I'm your host, �12𝙊𝙇𝙍𝙍, and with me, here ada orang yang berbeza. Yes, boleh bagi suara sikit kepada listeners and viewers. Viewers memang boleh nampak lah who you are, macam different.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Okay, suara sikit.
Suara teks 1 2 3.
Okay. Mungkin you all pernah dengar suara ni because actually he was a guest before this and now he is my guest host. So, welcome to the show,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ravi. Thank you for being my guest host for today.
Welcome.
Macam biasa, I nak salam sikit.
Okay.
Thank you for being with me. We're going to anchor this show together sampai habis.
Okay.
Yes. Mr. Ravi, kita hari ni bukan nak sembang pasal fin swimming because or diving ke apa, because Mr. Ravi, if you guys want to check that out, his episode, he spoke about fin swimming and diving also. How, actually, before that nak tanya, is it okay everything?
Oh, it's growing very well. Fin swimming is going to the next level now.
Okay.
Yep, it's going good.
Tapi hari ni Mr. Ravi, kita nak sembang pasal apa actually?
Hari ni kita nak move into a different segment. Not
Yes.
about sukan, not about sport, but more about leadership.
Not about sukan, not about sport.
Yeah,
then
but
kita
about
tutup
leadership.
lah. Bukan.
Bukan. Dia not about sport, not about anything.
Oh, bukan
but
a type of sport.
Sport leadership.
Oh, sports
that's
leadership.
the difference.
The listeners yang minat sport baru nak tutup.
Tak ada.
Jangan pergi mana-mana. Sports leadership.
Sabar dulu.
And yes, today we have a very, very, very special guest, kan?
Yeah.
Before we had this recording, Mr. Ravi shared to us our Better Call Sukan team, his background and all. Tapi siapa tak kenal, bagi suara sikit hello sikit.
Hello.
Oh, itu dia.
Dah
Okay.
dengar.
Yes.
Siapa boleh teka? Ni siapa?
Siapa boleh teka tu power lah. Okay, Mr. Ravi, tanpa buang masa, why don't you introduce our guest today to everyone, speaking about sports leadership.
Okay. So our guest for today, just like what I shared earlier, it's not about sport saja.
Yes.
And it's not about leadership.
Yes.
But a person who has experience in various sports arena and various leadership perspective also. And it's no other than Datuk Stuart Ramalingam.
Yes,
Yeah,
Datuk Stuart
Dr. Stuart Ramalingam.
Hello,
Hi,
welcome to the
guys.
show. Thank you so
Ravi.
much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Thank you for having
okay. Basically, Datuk Stuart, before kita hari ni kita nak sembang pasal sports leadership. And yes, there's kepada yang dengar, like, it's a different, bukan sports baru, bukan different new an athlete ke apa ke, but we don't know, maybe Datuk Stuart dulu pernah jadi athlete ke apa. So why don't Mr. Ravi kita tanya Datuk Stuart,
We can ask Datuk Stuart about his how he came into the sports world.
macam mana you mula mencintai dunia sukan lah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
From the
I think-
very beginning.
Yeah, okay, we only got an hour, so I'll try and condense this trilogy to 2 minutes.
Okay. And time starts now.
Tapi sebenarnya saya mula kerjaya saya dalam sukan ni sebagai atlet juga.
Okay.
So pada usia muda saya melibatkan diri dalam permainan atau sukan bola sepak. I played till I was at a decent level.
In school or?
School, state, and I broke my leg when I was 17.
Alamak.
So it was a unfortunate incident, but my entire career was built on making sure that I was going to be a footballer as a pathway. Yeah.
Okay.
But this happens. I think there are more of me than successful footballers. Right? There's more people that fall out of the opportunity to play the sport than actually making it, because that 1% makes it. The 99% don't. And as you know, football is a white sport. That kind of brought me back down to earth in terms of what I wanted to choose as a career path, and the reality set in that I didn't pay attention in school, and I was not really the best student, and I needed to reassess what I wanted to do. And it was at that time, medicine wasn't like now. The comeback is maybe much faster.
Okay.
But at that 17-year-old age, when you break your leg and you have to stay out of the sport for a year or two, kind of you lose.
Dia memang
you lose the
momentum
gap.
hilang and all that lah.
So membuat keputusan yang suka untuk melibatkan diri dalam pekerjaan orang biasa, out of the field and into the corporate sector.
Okay.
I got an opportunity to study from an aunt that was gave me an opportunity to go back to studying and realize that I could adjust to it. I maybe because I was in school, I was only focused on sports, never on the studies. But when I was forced to go into uni, I was able to kind of pick up education. It was kind of fresh sponge lah, absorbed a lot of things. So that kind of moved the passion of sport to education, and then I was blessed. The long journey of it, I was blessed to be able to work in the sports industry, right, and to carry on the career. The passion that I had on the field was taken off the field.
Yeah.
But okay, football sahaja ke? It was never like pernah masa kecil dulu ke memang like when you were small memang kecil-kecil tu dah like family dah memang football.
Tak ada. Dulu masa kita kecil, kita bermain berbilang-bilang sukan lah. Berbagai-bagai sukan. So dekat sekolah, saya was olahragawan LaSalle PJ because I was into athletics, hockey. I played in National Junior League for hockey, the first ever National Junior League
Shout
hockey.
out LaSalle PJ.
LaSalle PJ,
okay.
So I was in athletics, hockey, football. Last time at a younger age, if you're athletic, you join
Semua kan?
Semua.
Semua pun nak.
So but football was something you excelled in, so you played more of it. Ya, kawan-kawan dekat rumah pun tak main hoki juga. Kawan-kawan dekat rumah main bola sepak je.
Primary ke?
Secondary.
Primary tak?
Primary, that time just
Primary they were playing more catching,
lari dalam bumi lah semua. No, but I think at that age your fundamentals you build because playing with clubs, so it was a great experience. I believe playing in the team sport space, having a career in the earlier youth experience helped me kind of build on the passion that I have. So when I'm in the corporate sector of sport today and the industry of sport, I think about it with the heart of sport still. I'm not a guy that doesn't have sports in my blood. Right? I'm not attracted to the industry because of its glamour. I was attracted to the industry because of I was invested in it. You know?
Nice.
But I also understand the safety nets that sports never provided. So for me as a young athlete breaking a leg, it meant you got to really think for yourself now. What are you going to do? Right?
To break leg tu time wakil sekolah ke, wakil state ke?
Sebelum wakil state. Yeah,
sebelum wakil state.
Sebelum
in training?
Sebelum masuk camp. Yeah, so this is just main-main dekat rumah-rumah. But last time kita budak kecil, kita main dengan orang besar. Kadang-kadang diorang they want to take your legs out lah. So it's normal, right? And I asked for it. I was kind of asking for it as well.
What position?
I was a centre midfielder all my life.
Maestro.
Yeah, I was box to box.
Oh, box to box.
Yeah,
okay,
so
okay.
I had legs on me, so I could run a lot.
Okay.
I was a lot more creative and I more the playmaker of the team. But yeah, it's the work rate. I enjoyed being up. I enjoyed being down. Right. So I enjoyed being involved in the entire transition, and so I used to think a lot in the game. So I think that was my strong point.
Oh,
nice.
And dia punya love, Mr. Ravi, from walaupun kaki patah sekalipun, masih he wanna continue.
Correct.
Yeah, and like, he's where he is today. And before kita tak cakap that he is actually, before kita masuk sports leadership punya topic, so he has and he has a very colourful journey career because he became correct me if I'm wrong, the CEO of the Malaysia Super League, Malaysia Football League.
Yeah.
And you were also involved in AFC, then SU, if I'm not mistaken.
FIFA.
Yeah, FIFA. So, he was involved in FIFA.
And also Road to Goal. So
that's what I'm doing now for government.
Currently the Road to Goal coordinator.
Yeah. So sebab itulah kita panggil the perfect person to actually explain apa sebenarnya it's a sports leadership.
Sports and leadership, macam mana they can blend together.
Yes. So just kepada maybe we santai sikit, we chill a bit. Can you just explain the reason first kenapa you wanna, well, in football you nak teruskan, you can be any, there's banyak jawatan.
Yeah.
Tapi kenapa you nak actually get that first? What inspired you to be, all the one that we just stated?
Yeah, I think that the path that I chose was chose for me, I believe, right?
Yes.
So as a footballer at a very young age, I never made it to the levels of the pro footballers today. So I wouldn't even say I'm even close to them. Please don't get me wrong, but the passion was there. The passion to do something in the space. As a young footballer that maybe didn't do well in studies and had to now choose a path to go, you needed to fix yourself in many areas of weakness, right? So not many people know this, and probably the first time I'm saying this publicly, but my first job after breaking my leg was to be a cabin crew at Malaysia Airlines.
Okay.
That's nice.
So shout out to batch 358, 359.
Yeah.
And every journey, every experience, I believe, kind of shaped the areas of weakness that I had as an individual to lead me to the next step. So what did flying in Malaysia Airlines do for me? I saw the whole world, every continent, by the time I was 21 years old, right? But what was fantastic was it. As a young athlete, you're very much in a shell. You're not very much a public person. You're kind of an introvert. You don't speak much. You don't. You're in a crowd. You don't. You kind of like stand in a corner. You don't mingle. Flying with Malaysia Airlines taught me to open my mouth, talk to strangers, work with different people every trip,
and meet different
cultures, different people in a very close environment for a long period of time.
How long was that actually?
For 3.5 years, I flew with Malaysia Airlines. Yeah. So, but it was a fantastic experience. So people would say, "Oh, you're waiting in the sky, and you're the steward," all that I've heard before. All that I've heard before, but. As much as it was a very proud experience for me because it shaped me to take the next step, right? To take the next step in life, go back to studying. So I flew before I went back to studying. So I went back to studying at a very later age, not as a normal fresh grad, because I think I would have shot myself in the foot, right? Okay. So I think that maturity, that 3.5 years gave me a sense of maturity, a sense of life navigation, a compass that I needed to bring myself to, right? When I went back to uni, I did accounting and finance, and I did fairly well, and I was really happy with what I wanted to do. And being a ex-athlete, all I wanted to do was sports management, right? That's it. But then, because I kind of thought I understood what that meant, right? And then in the end, I ended up doing accounting and finance. I realized I understood numbers.
Okay.
And today, I ran big organizations like an MFL, or I worked in big organizations, and I understood numbers, right? So when I studied accounting and finance, I never did accounting and finance, but it helped me lead organizations based on the experience that I understand numbers. Because if you don't understand numbers, you can't lead organizations, right?
Betul.
Organizations are run based on P&Ls. You make decisions on cost and revenue.
P&L to what?
Profit and loss.
Profit and loss.
So once you understood numbers, then I kind of, this was the pieces of the big picture coming together, right? So you got your Malaysia Airlines fixing your introvert issue, then you're going back to university, learning that, actually I did science stream in LaSalle, right?
LaSalle, yeah.
And I failed. I did science stream and I failed at maths from the time I started in Form 4 until I finished SPM, right?
Okay.
But when I went to uni, I realized I understood numbers. I think you were at different phase, different mindsets of it, and different
maturity levels as well. Yep.
That it brought you different abilities, right? And I think all of that coming together brought me through that path and that journey. So I don't think many can say that they've done FIFA, AFC, General Secretary of the Federation, CEO of a national league.
Yes.
You know, and that pyramid I've served, right?
Yeah.
And not as a footballer. Now as an administrator, which I've been to World Cups, UEFA Champions League, Asian Cups, AFC Champions League, SEA Games, Malaysian Leagues, Malaysia Cups, and I've been at every
Hook
major
and-
competition
yeah.
that you would want to be, right? And I never imagined the day I broke my leg, that would be my journey, right? Because it wasn't planned. I never planned this, right? I never planned this. But what I realized is that I had weaknesses. At that point, I had weaknesses that I needed to fix. I understood that every life lesson I was going through was kind of strengthening me in areas that I needed to fix myself. And it brought me to like where I am today.
But
So-
what sparked you actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sparked like Arif, like just now he was saying kan, Datuk Stuart was saying from Malaysian Airlines cabin crew.
Yeah.
What sparked you to move into take the first step to go education again?
I think, yeah, I mean, and in no disrespect to the job, I just felt that I wasn't cut out to do this, right? It was a phase that I needed to do it. It gave me a fantastic income. It gave me an outlook on the world. It gave me an experience that I will never be able to get anywhere else. And I trained myself through that interaction and that working in a confined environment and navigating through the intricacies of the job. It gave me an understanding that maybe I should do more. Maybe I was meant to do more.
Yeah, that's not your end game lah, basically.
Yeah, so I knew that, I knew I wanted to do more. So there was a burning desire in me that I love the job. Please don't get me wrong. I love the job. I love the people that I work with. I love the organization. It gave me such a catapult and elevation to who I am today. But I also felt that at that point I needed to move on. Right?
Yeah.
So then the opportunity came to study again. And I grabbed it and then never looked back since. And then it kind of brought me on a domino effect to the path that I took.
Itulah dia. Before kita even go to the main topic is sports leadership, kita nak tanya actually the macam perjalanan liku-liku you sebelum you menjadi leaders of all the one that you said just now. Yeah, what pernah tak ada like, did you, ada orang just open the door for you ke you had to like literally find the door to open up yourself? Yeah, macam mana actually?
So one thing that I do that not many people know, so I respond to LinkedIn quite a bit.
Okay.
Right? And the story of this is because I feel an obligation to pay it forward. Right. So my opportunity in sport was, and in football specifically, was given to me by the late Datuk Sri Paul Moni. I'm not sure if you know. He was the General Secretary of AFC, of FAM, and even AFF.
Okay.
My name was put in the hat to be a consultant, a staff instructor for FIFA in the region.
Okay.
I met up with him one day. Someone introduced me to him. We had a chat in his office, and he recommended me for this job in FIFA. Right.
Okay.
And it was such an experience for me, for this person that doesn't know me at all, right? To have given me this opportunity, that was the first door opener, right? That was the first door that opened to me. And every phase of my life, there has been an individual that kind of helped me through
Played
that
a
door.
big role.
Right?
Yeah.
People can open the door for you,
Yeah.
but you got to walk through and you got to deliver, right? And when you walk through, you got to walk through with a responsibility of the reputation of the person that opened the door, right? Because yes, in life you need network, you need contacts. You know, don't get me wrong. That's all important, but it's also down to your owners to be responsible for the person that opened the door. And until today, I never forget the people that opened the door for me through that journey, right? So I still see them, the ones that are around. I still see them. I still make time for them because I come from that space. So why LinkedIn? So there are individuals that have hired from LinkedIn,
Okay.
that today work in AFC,
Okay.
that today work in big corporates in Malaysia, work with me through the system. Is because if you feel that you writing something to me on LinkedIn and saying, you know, Datuk, can I meet up with you, or you know, can you have a call with me? I feel a responsibility to do how the door was open for me, right?
Nice.
So this paid forward, how you say, feel that I have, I still do it until today. So I've I think throughout my career, I've hired about 5 people from LinkedIn. Just people that reach out, have a passion. I see the passion in their eyes, the talent that they have, and open that door that was open for me many years ago. And I have to say, from all of them have made it somewhere, right? So the selection process is tough.
Yes.
But because you need to deserve it, you need to be able to make me proud, and deliver, right? It's all for you. I don't take anything from this, right? But the moment the door is open for you, the door could be open for tens of thousands of other people that want to join sport, especially football, right?
Yes.
So if they join sport, it is it is a blessing for you to protect that position in sport.
Yes.
So I hope to inspire more people that feel that they owe this industry their position and not take it for granted.
Of
That
course.
I'm here, so I be comfortable and I live on this ego.
Okay.
Correct.
So now
That's very
very inspiring.
Yeah, very inspiring.
Itulah. So sekarang ni kita nak sembang pasal the main topic
The
of
main
the day.
topic. Yeah,
Actually,
belum main topic itself already feel very inspired.
That's why. We just want to know, in your eyes now, actually, we move to the next segment. What is sports leadership for you? Maybe contohnya orang, they tiba-tiba termasuk dalam this podcast for the first time, and then they nampak, and then they just want to know. Do you mind explaining to them what is sports leadership yang you
In your perspective.
in your perspective.
Yeah.
Explain it to like orang yang tak tahu langsung. pasal.
Ravi said it earlier. Dekat luar tadi kita ada bincang pasal apa pendapat kita mengenai leadership in sport, and he said leadership does not mean you're the number one. Leadership is across, right? You're a leader at every layer, right? I was never a leader today. I was a leader when I was playing football at my young age, right? You're a contributor. To be a good leader, you need to be a team player first, right? You're not a leader without knowing how to play second fiddle. You're not a leader if you don't know how to play co-leader, a team member, a contributor, a spectator. You need to understand, right? There's no leader that comes and say, I'm a leader from day one. You learn leadership, right? And leadership, if you realize, has so many different ways of implementing leadership, inspiring people, growing talent, outcome-based or result-based or value-based, depends on what you want from the particular project. So for me, I think where I am today may be different than the answer I would have given maybe 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. Where I am today is I feel there's a lack of more sports leaders and industry builders, passionate like me, maybe, like yourselves, like Ravi, that want to contribute to building the environment of sport in Malaysia. So hopefully, I mean, today my direction is mainly to inspire more people that I have direct interaction with to do better in the industry, to lead this industry that requires a lot of care and attention. So leadership in sport, I believe, is also looking towards inspiring the next generation. It's not about protecting your seat. It's about making sure you're ready to move on because there's somebody better already incubated by you, to take over. Because at some point, you will expire, right? You will expire your relevance in that position. So it's great to be able to create the next layer of leaders to take over. You're only a good leader if you're surrounded by better people, right? You put better people beside you, and they are the ones to make you look good, right? As a leader, you only have an umbrella view of things, but they have a vertical view of every department, of every area of speciality. So put these inspiring young leaders as your second layer. Don't be afraid of their ambition. Everybody will have their aspiration to take over you.
Yes.
But that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you're doing something good.
Yeah, you are aspiring for them to
Correct.
want that seat, right?
Yeah.
But you got to prove yourself. You got to work for that seat. That seat doesn't kind of open up just because you are the senior. I think it's a merit-based promotion. You earn that seat. You didn't serve the longest, right? So my where I am today, to answer that question, is that I hope I inspire more leaders in sport, and bring more talent into the industry.
Okay. I have a question. Contohnya kan, because yes, it's that basically contohnya orang yang dengar ni itu leadership in general, and yeah, dia berkaitan dengan sports. Adakah in your eyes orang kata sport leadership ke is not actually a sports leadership? Dia leadership dia is number one, tapi macam contohnya dia ada arts leadership ke, dia ada like politician leadership ke, adakah dia berbeza actually?
Yeah, I mean definitely in every skill set and every industry tu ada perbezaannya lah. I think my style of leadership came with the interaction with the many. I'm a bit of a chameleon, I suppose.
Okay.
A bit of a
adapting to
there is no Stuart's way of doing it. There is Stuart's hybrid way of doing it, because I think throughout my journey, as I said, I've learned that I have weaknesses. I may have been a leader on the football field, but I was not being able to lead people in a work environment, right? I needed to learn. And I think for me, I always used to watch leaders around me and how they work and pick up the goods and bads, right? The bads I leave behind, and the good parts of their leadership styles, I made it my style.
Your way,
right? So maybe I'm a blend of those various interactions that I have, and throughout that journey, whether under Datuk Sri Windsor in AFC or Datuk Sri Paul Moni or even Tan Sri Hamidin, or these are Datuk Ghani, and everyone has a little bit of something that you can pick up to make it your own environment, right? I worked with the Japanese for 4 years at Dentsu. So in Dentsu Sports Asia, in the Asian landscape, there was the president is always Japanese, and then under the Japanese president, then there's the two nons, which is Josh Burak, an American guy that he handles broadcast and media rights, and I handled the business side of sponsorship and business development, and we served in a Japanese organization that taught me a different style of leadership.
And time tu sebenarnya you dah macam-macam dah.
Yeah, correct. So I've gone through this journey of experiences, and this is coming to Malaysian football. The 4 years I was in Dentsu was learning the Japanese style of leadership is totally different. Corporate structure, corporate culture, and leadership style in Japanese environment, totally different, right? So you also learn what's good and bad about it, because the Japanese style is so hierarchy driven and so very, you are my subordinate, you're my subordinate. Very different, right? But it has its value, it has its principles, it has its culture and legacy, it has its purpose, right? In that environment. But is it fitting for us? No, I don't think so, right? And in our culture, it's a bit different. So you got to take this one. So I guess to the listeners wanting to know about leadership, and do you learn leadership from a book? I don't think so. You learn leadership from life experiences, emulating people that you see and taking the good part about leadership. A lot of people are not like me. I'm not 100% perfect, right? I've got my areas of weakness. I maybe delegate badly, right? I don't put pressure. The pressure I receive is not the pressure I put downwards. People say it's great because you protect your team from pressure, right? But I think you also incubate weakness, because they never understand what pressure is like. Because you kind of filter that, right? You become the payung for this pressure. But when I was growing up, the pressure was dumped on me. So when I moved up the ladder, I understood how to deal with pressure, right? Okay. But maybe I'm also a bad leader in terms of how I kind of train them through the fire, right?
Yeah.
You gotta put them through that journey to shape them for that role later. Okay. So I know that I've got areas of leadership that I could improve, I could do better, right? So I think that journey of leadership is a constant journey. You keep learning as you go along in life, different phases. You deal with the different generations of kids nowadays. So you got to adapt your leadership style of old to the new.
Cara diorang memang lain.
Cara dulu objektif kerja memang berbeza, permintaan berbeza, dan juga attitude. And last time you can say things in office culture would be accepted. Today you can't say things in certain office culture. You will be cancelled, right? So I believe that I have to keep learning. I think learning is perpetual. You constantly need to adapt your style.
No, Arif, here, following what Datuk Stuart has said just now, I have something to ask him.
Silakan.
So when you say that you protecting your team from all the bad things that comes in front of them. Okay, moving in that line, can you share with us? I think the listeners also very interested to know what are the kind of challenges that you have come across in your.
So in the Japanese working environment, numbers are a priority. Yeah. So my first year was tough to build trust, to build results with the Japanese organizations. But by year 4, you were given free hand, right? Okay. And because you delivered the numbers, you understand the process, they are confident of the integrity, and they ensure that you can do it right? So I think these are the important things that it was a yearly pressure. So today the target revenue is X, right? Next year the target revenue is X times 3. And then the number keeps building, right?
Surely.
But I used to take that pressure. The number is my pressure. The team, you deliver it, right? I make sure that the hunting of the number is my responsibility. And those type of pressure didn't allow them to understand what important and is it to hunt for the work, to go out there and get business, right? I was the one in the office frazzled with budgets and targets and all, but then the team doesn't understand what targets we're trying to chase. They understand the target, but they don't understand the pressure of the
pressure
target.
that comes
right?
from it.
So I am sit for management meetings. I answer to Japan or in Malaysia and in Singapore, and I used to be the vice president of Asia and the CEO of Malaysia. So I used to spend 2 weeks in Malaysia, 2 weeks in Singapore, and you run 2 different offices with 2 different targets, and you try to manage it within your own means.
Wow. At the same time.
Yeah. So as an example, this is what I mean. In same in the football environment as well. When you're the CEO, you have to deal with clubs, you have to deal with owners, you have to deal with fans, you have to deal with media.
Yeah.
And in football, you're the sole one facing.
Yeah.
You're the sole
And
image of
also
the organization,
it's
right?
the most sports paling mainstream in this country.
Yeah.
Yes,
So it's
correct.
and in that environment, as general secretary of FAM or even the CEO of the league, you're the one stakeholder that can speak. By virtue of the constitution and how the organization is structured, you're the only one that can speak. So nobody feels the pressure. The CEO feels the pressure because you have to answer, you have to take the questions, you have to answer. And a lot of it is also industry related, and it's the pressure is not coming from individuals or teams, but it's just the industry pressure. Oh, why teams don't pay salaries? It's nothing to do with you, but you have to take the topic, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to ensure regulations, or why is team given license, or why this team is not given license. You have to explain. You have to know the facts. You have to know the regulation. You have to be ready for the soalan panas from the media. So you got to prepare.
Because in the end, mungkin it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Tapi in the end,
You have to take the bullet.
it was directed.
Yeah.
Nampak macam
the industry is crumbling. So as the CEO of the league, for example, you're the sole. The organization is the sole guardian of the collective value of the league.
Yeah.
Right. And you have to position yourself that way. You have to position yourself of always upholding the collective value of the teams and the league and the fans and the players. Fans will fight with fans.
Yeah.
Teams will fight with teams, right? But the league must be above everything else, right? So you have to protect the collective value. And maybe this fan is not happy with the decision that MFL made, or maybe that club is against this club, or maybe that fans is not happy with the price of the ticket of a final match. But you have to uphold the integrity of the collective value of all stakeholders, right? So it's not easy because maybe 90% of people are happy with what you say, but the 10% that are not happy will make it known that they're not happy, right?
Kalau dia cakap salah, dia bagi tahu betul tu, and then it will ripple all the, buatkan orang semua rasa, dia buat salah. Tapi sebenarnya just that 10% yang membuatkan you, and how can you make sure that I'm sure benda tu akan jadi, and it always happen. I mean, tak kisahlah in what, but football punya, it's the mainstream sports yang orang ramai kami boleh bersuara, kami nak bersuara
It's
and
the
all.
people's sport.
People's
Yeah,
sport,
yeah.
And the pressure I'm
Yeah.
sure that you have dealt with must be really intense.
Intense.
But for you, just now when Mr. Ravi asked you that challenge throughout the whole thing, you did not say as a CEO of the Malaysian Super League or Malaysian Football League. It's by being in Densu. So
Yeah.
is that your answer actually?
No, so I think at every point of operation. So for example, when I was the competitions director at AFC, so AFC Champions League, AFC Cup were under me.
Yeah.
Right. When I entered that environment, I had a fantastic team within AFC to incubate me into the AFC system. But you have to deal with the West countries and the East countries and the South Asian countries. And within that region in itself, you've got competitiveness within those countries. So you've got to deal. You've got to deal with country leaders, and you've got to deal with club owners, and you've got to deal with competition structures and across Asia, right? Not even just the Malaysian. If I again, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember, we've got probably about 11 different time zones in Asia.
Okay, yeah.
You've got on a day that Mongolia may be minus 40, you've got Australia that's plus 40 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, the geography of Asia and the uniqueness of the culture is very different across Asia.
And you have to lead.
You have to lead the club competitions in this space. So the pressure is also different, right? So, but every journey, Malaysian football, Densu, Asian football, FIFA. The experience has been tremendous. You know, I am who I am only because of the tough experiences. That also leads to a lot of beauty behind it, right? Because nothing beats the feeling when I was general secretary at FAM. I think if you ask me of the most memorable sporting moments, when I was CEO of MFL or general secretary of FAM, being on the pitch when the Negaraku is being sung before a national team match or before a Malaysia Cup final, it's Memang lah. I mean, it is a proud moment to be a Malaysian, right? Yeah, you got all this stress from the work and the operations of things. But you suddenly realize and appreciate what it means, right? What blessings I have to be in that space.
Yeah.
So as I am maybe pressured in the job based on targets, and you need to raise money for the clubs in Malaysia, your salaries need to be paid, and I mean, these are all business pressures. I'm not talking about industry issues, right? But I'm talking about just to run an organization like MFL that runs on a tens of millions of dollars budget a year. You're pressured to do better every year because the clubs depend on you. The clubs need you to centralize the rights and up the value, right? So you're pressured to do better every year. And you appreciate that moments may help you appreciate that you are in such a special environment, right? That anybody will pay to do the job that I do, right? So that's why I do it with passion, and that's why I do it with thanks that I am, the experiences I've had cannot be bought.
This experience, like what Dr. said, it's something that not everyone have the opportunity to get it.
Yes.
But looking in that direction, right, Dato', you have gone through all these challenges and all that. Now, what intrigues, I think, I'm sure is running in the listeners' mind also. How did you overcome this kind of situation, this kind of challenges?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I think a lot of these scenarios and situations are scenarios and situations that happen on the go. If it's strategic issues, then you can plan for kind of addressing how we're going to intervene, how we're going to restructure budgets, how we're going to redeploy. When things happen suddenly, there's an overcrowding at a particular gate in a FA Cup final or Malaysia Cup final.
Panjat pagar ke apa?
Fans that don't want to sit upstairs all want to come to tier 1. Dia ada tier 3 tiket tapi nak duduk kat tier 1.
Tier 1 kosong.
Tier 1 tak ada, dia nak duduk
Nak
tangga.
juga? Oh,
tak
duduk
apa,
tangga.
duduk kat tangga pun tak kisah. Daripada naik tingkat 3. Baik aku duduk tingkat 2. Tak apa. But then you have to address it because
Yeah.
then it seems like there's overpopulation of people in a particular area. Was it us? Was it, but you can put the barricades, but barricades orang tolak pun is whether you want to follow the line or not lah. Traffic light ada, tapi kadang-kadang
Kita langgar juga.
langgar
The red
juga
light,
kan.
yeah.
So what more in a football environment with tens of thousands of people rushing to seats, right? So, but you have to kind of redeploy people, make sure it's safe, get security there, push people to other sectors, and those are the type of things that you got to do on the spot, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
But I have fantastic team in MFL, for example. You have a operational competition operations team that will react to these sort of things. I don't need to really intervene too much. The people that run these departments are people that kind of have the plan Bs and plan Cs already kind of ready. So I think leadership would mean making sure your team is ready for the anything that can happen moment, right? So if this happens, what are you going to do? If this happens, what are you going to do? If the prize giving is on the field at 11:30 but it starts to rain, where's the second position for stage setup? Would be the VIPs go down? Would the field be too muddy? Do we move it to the track? Is the track able to take the weight of the stage? Anything requires a plan B, right? So I think leadership is making sure that everybody is thought through, so when it happens, you don't need to be the one running to the fans and asking, bang, tak boleh duduk sini. I don't think it's the one, but it is to plant the seed in the guys for them to think, because they are the ones that are going to lead it when it happens, right? So, but I'm blessed to have been always surrounded by good people in FAM, in Densu, in FIFA, in AFC, and even in MFL. I've been surrounded by good people. A lot of these people, you just need to inspire them to know that their thoughts and their ideas have value. A lot of them are better than you. They're better experts in those specific areas. So if you let them think, if you let them do, they will deliver. It's just you got to inspire them to do it.
The last one lah before we end. The final question. Mesti pernah ada, right, throughout your whole leadership journey. I don't know kalau ada ke tak. The times yang you regret your decision, maybe making a decision or blow up kepada your team ke apa. We don't have to know what. Just kalau tak ada then tak ada lah. Tapi kalau ada, after that what?
How do you come back from there?
I don't know. I think it's also because I'm a calm leader, I would say. I don't really lose my head very often.
Yeah, that's the word, lose your head.
Yeah. So, but it has happened. I wouldn't say that. It's not like it hasn't happened, right? But I believe if you're not the type of leader that just screams and shouts at people every day, the team understands when the time you do scream and shout, there is a purpose and a reason to it.
Itu dia.
So I think you don't need to apologize for something that has reason behind, right? And as a good leader, I believe the team understands when the boss suddenly, not out of his normal attitude,
Dia kalau dia
loses his head,
dia mainnya betul something betul is wrong lah.
And honestly, they fix it among themselves. They would say, we shouldn't have done that.
Tak apa, okay je. Boleh je.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. So they kind of know. And then when we sit down for the next management meeting, you can turn around and say, guys, you know what happened, right? And what was the problem? And you don't have to address it. Let's dive into the conversation, talk about it for the next 45 minutes again. I believe situational issues, everybody knows. Right? It's not something you gotta really dive into and go through this emotional roller coaster again. Right? What was the problem? How did we deal with it? Is it going to happen again? If it happens again, what's our reaction? And then move on. Right? So I've had arguments with people in the office and had a teh tarik 1 hour later. Right? No problem. For me, it ends there. I don't carry so kalau ada staff buat silap lah, and it happens, right? Yeah, maybe we have words. But for me, it ends after I close the door and after I move out of that conversation. 30 minutes later, if I see you, fine, move on, right? topik dah selesai kan. So I don't need to make it an individual problem. It's a situational problem. It's an issue that we dealt with already.
So your emotion punya balance tu pun kena.
Yeah, the yin and yang has to be done right lah, I suppose, you know. But it's not easy. I know that emotions get the better of people at particular moments, you know. I think that is something that I had to kind of learn how to be as well. I've seen leaders shout, throw paper, you know, baling buku kat muka orang, you know. But those were the ones that I said, oh, I don't want to be this leader, right? I took the good part, how he balances the books, how he runs the numbers. This is fantastic because he's super efficient. But when he's under pressure because of the numbers, their reaction is not something I want, right? So you start to identify the good part of his demeanors, but you also see the parts that, hey, this is not the type. Because I wouldn't want that to be done to me, right? So how can I do it to someone else?
Nice. That's very interesting.
Let's wrap it up. Like kepada yang dah dengar from start to the end, who maybe inspired after hearing this, but diorang punya scope is not as big as you, but they want to try on learning or doing something or jumping something to, like you said, you were from steward, then you pergi ke sini and then you start to do leader. So it doesn't matter what they want to do, but they want to face a challenge yang diorang takut to face. What can you say to them?
I think for me, the entire journey of life has been a journey of fear as well. Every leap, moving from one job to another, has come with its fears and its challenges as well. But stop thinking what ifs and just do it. I suppose if you keep thinking of, I shouldn't, I couldn't, I wouldn't do this. But for me, I've always been the one to dive in first and let's see how deep the water is after, And I hope that anyone in the sports space that has the opportunity to join sports, join it for the right reasons, right? Yeah, sports is an industry of passion.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody would love to contribute or to work in the space and come in to shape the industry, build the industry, because the industry needs younger leaders to come in to inspire the next generation and to inspire the ones that sit on the top with the bright ideas, with good feedback, and we need to incubate these future leaders as well. So the challenges I faced and the opportunities that I've had are part and parcel of it. You can't accept the opportunities without the challenges. There's no good without the bad, and the tough without the perks. So it is a package. So when you pick up that responsibilities, and the higher you go up in a organizational structure, you got to understand what you're accepting, right? So I was blessed, and this life that I've had was never planned. I never planned FIFA, I never planned AFC, I never planned MFL, I never planned FAM, I never planned Densu. The doors open when it opened, right?
And
I think
you took that opportunity.
and you correct. So I'm thankful to all the leaders that trust me through that journey, right? I was in Densu when Tan Sri Hamidin, Datuk Hamidin then decided to have a conversation with me to come in as General Secretary when he was moving up to FAM. It didn't need to be me, but he wanted somebody with a different thinking, with a different corporate practice to come in and help him do what he needed to do. From Datuk Sri Windsor that is still helping me with the AFC work that I do today and brought me into the AFC environment. The opportunity that YB Hannah gives me now with Road to Goal gives me a huge dimension of ability to be able to see how government bureaucracy works, because I was always kind of away from this government practice, right?
Yes.
So this experience gives me a whole different approach to work with and closely with the minister, that I can see how the government process works. So I'm so thankful to that. When I joined MFL, I worked with Datuk Ghani, and Datuk Ghani has a different skill sets of care and welfare of staff that I didn't have. And he taught me the ability to maybe put the staff first and the care and the welfare first. And I was very profit driven, revenue driven, and he helped me balance that, right? So these are the experiences when I worked with Kuni in Dentsu. So he was a Japanese boss, right? And he was hard on me. He was hard on numbers, right? But the moment you proved worth, then I could feel it. Every year he started to let go more and more. I was able to have more independence, right? So through this journey, I've had interactions with leaders that really inspire me to be a better leader. And you pick up all these good interactions to shape who you are. I would hope that I'm not the end product. I hope I keep learning.
Yes. It doesn't end here, basically.
Yeah. And there was a phase in life that I became a husband and a father, right? And they have shaped me. So my wife has inspired me to do better in my work. My kids has inspired me to bring results and show value, because I do a bit, so on a spin I do a bit of charity work with Make-A-Wish. I'm not sure if you know Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish is a charity that provides the wish of a terminally ill child, right? So I do a bit of that, but it's also to inspire my kids, right? So they're inspired in the industry I work in, sports and football, but it's also they inspire me to give back, right? So they inspire me that the world is not just about sports and kicking a ball and angkat a piala and sing a full stadium. It's more than that. And they've inspired me to be a better leader and to be a better person, you know. So I mean, as life goes by, you pick up all of these life lessons, and it hopefully shapes you to a better individual that you are in the end.
Okay, I think I can wrap up and say, macam kalau you rasa 24 jam tu tak cukup untuk you, apatah lagi kalau Datuk Stuart dia boleh complete everything. Wah, I don't know how 24 hours you fit everything. So that one I betul-betul respect, and I'm very inspired.
Lots of passion involved in this.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for the sharing from start to the end, and also giving advices to the listeners out there. Also, not advice, maybe your thoughts also. And from our side, Better Call Sukan, we hope that your journey will continue. Keep on inspiring people. Keep on doing you. I am your fan now.
Thank you.
And it's fun to see that whatever you have achieved, you are willing to come here to actually tak ada closed doors, just open up and just tell what is happening and what you went through and all. And sayang sangat lah, it's actually very surface je. Walaupun kita dah the end of the day, it's so surface what you cerita. But it's, I say kalau if you guys want to know more, you can just ask, take Datuk Stuart Ramalingam punya, can ask for feedback and all. And Mr. Ravi, do you have anything to ask before we go to the final segment?
No, I think you have given a broad spectrum of what leadership is, and for those listeners out there, I think they can start to see that if before this they didn't have the thought that leadership is just about the number one person. After listening to what Datuk Stuart said, it's from where you begin, from every aspect of life, what you do, how you do it, and taking up the challenge to move through that door. So that's very nice, very nice.
And just to ask you, what I dapat lah, kalau ni harapnya betul lah kan, leadership tu, sports leadership tu, sports tu adalah sebuah medium sahaja. It's how you carry yourself and you berkait dengan sports. Is it true?
Yeah, 100%. Sure. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think that's what we intend to get out of it, is that you can be a leader of corporate sector, but doesn't mean you can be a leader in sport. The adaptability, the passion is unique.
Yeah.
And I hope that this session, and as Ravi mentioned, inspires people that leadership is not learned merely in a classroom and books, but by interaction and engagement. Okay. Stop just being social media warriors. Interact with people. You might learn a lot more having a conversation rather than just doing postings.
Awesome.
Nice.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up with the final segment. We're gonna ask you a this and that question. So you just jawab je.
Yeah.
Try jawab quick. Alright, this and that for Datuk Stuart. Football or futsal?
Oh, football.
Okay. Leading a team or being part of a team?
Leading a team.
Early bird or night owl?
My wife will say both. I will say night owl.
Strategic planning or adaptability on the fly?
Strategic planning.
Home cooked meal or restaurant
This one very
dining?
important.
Must be home cooked meal.
Betul. Dia tengah dengar. Kalau tak kat rumah nanti grab order lah.
correct. No, but yeah, my wife cooks a mean dish, so yeah, I can't argue with that.
Okay, mentoring aspiring leaders or learning from seasoned veterans?
Learning for sure, but it's exciting to inspire. But yeah, if the question is this or that, then it's learning from leaders.
Beach vacation or mountain
Beach.
getaway? Beach. Oh, terus. Data-driven decisions or instinct-based decisions?
Data-driven.
Oh, okay. With that, can you just end the show by bagi your quote yang kata-kata you personally always keep to yourself?
So I have a strange one, but I say this in every organization I take over. Okay. And it is only to tell them how I think and to inspire them to think the same. So the light bulb wasn't invented by improving the candle. Right? So that's the quote I use when I tell people, so you got to think out of the box. You can make the light bulb, you can make the candle last longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's all it does, right?
Yeah.
The light bulb reinvented the space and does the same job. But to be able to, for the light bulb to create, you needed to create electricity. You needed to make sure there's supply, make sure there's stability, create light bulb. And it's a subsequent secondary environment that's needed for a product to work, right? So, the light bulb wasn't invented by improving the candle.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Datuk
Thank you.
Stuart.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, do you want to give a shout out, quick shout out lah kepada whoever, your wife ke, your anak ke, or whoever, or kalau contohnya, how do people if they want to reach to you, kalau you can bagi shout out to that camera.
Oh, okay.
Kalau contohnya orang nak to know more about, actually kita tak actually tanya pun what's next and all, people want to know and follow after this. I say I'm your fan. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one. The listeners, some people maybe juga. So shout out and also tell them where can they find you.
Okay, hi, darling, Tevi, Aiden, Rihanna. Those are my wife, son, and daughter. They are the ones that inspire me the most to do what I do. So thanks for constantly inspiring me as I hopefully inspire others. For those that want to know more, just want to kind of bounce things, I always make time. I try to, as much as I can, if not meet online physically. So I've got two Instagram pages. One is quite private, which is Stuart.Ramalingam. But just recently, since I left Malaysian football in September, I created my own Stuart on the Loose Instagram handle. If you want to add me on that, that's kind of like a public page. I only post good vibes. So a lot of coffee and a lot of chill out postings rather than work related. So I try to not post about work. So that's about but yeah, reach out to me and hopefully we can meet each other one day.
Awesome. Mr. Ravi, last words from you. I just want to say to everyone before you nak suruh you follow our socials, Better Call Sukan. Thank you so much to Mr. Ravi actually for having this episode, because Mr. Ravi is actually not alone today. Dia bawa dia punya classmates. Actually, Mr. Ravi is a collab between Better Call Sukan, Media Prima Audio with Universiti Malaya from sports
administration, sports administration and leadership
in Universiti Malaya.
Universiti
So they
Malaya.
had to do a program in a lecture class. To buat a project of a podcast, and they decided to reach out to us and to collab together to have this wonderful podcast show. And thank you so much on your side, because I believe that it has really been really inspiring listening to Datuk's journey and also his thoughts on sports leadership. So thank you so much to your, bagi you pun nak kena bagi lecture sikit, bagi like ni shout out to your classmates. Dia ada juga kat sini.
Yes. Okay, first of all, thank you to Better Call Sukan for giving this opportunity for podcast, and thank you to Datuk Stuart for making time to come and accept our invitation. And also to my classmates here, thanks for
bagi
giving
shout out
this
nama
opportunity to classmates Nabila, Afiqah, Marwan, 𝙎𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼 and Bolin from the Faculty of Sports course, Sports Administration and Leadership. So I think we have come together to make all this a good effort and make this podcast a success with the collaboration of Datuk.
Kalau dia lecture tak bagi A, kita
kalau lecturer tak bagi A, kena datang balik Better Call ni.
Alright, final words from you.
Nothing. Thank you for having me. It's my first podcast in a long time, so I hope I didn't bore too many people with the stories.
Tidak.
But thank you for having me. Hopefully we'll meet again soon.
Yes, and thank you to all of you, pendengar dan penonton. Don't forget to watch all our highlights and reels on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, on the Audio Plus punya app. Anywhere, don't forget to follow us on social medias, Better Call Sukan. And kalau you guys also like Mr. Ravi as well, want to collab from a school ke apa ke, do let us know. We will definitely call you and call them. And kalau you guys ada sports or whoever, sports figure, athletes yang you guys nak, let us know. We will definitely call them. So that's about it. I'm going to wrap up the show. Thank you so much, everybody. My name is �12𝙇𝙊𝙇𝙍.
I'm Ravi.
I'm Stuart Ramalingam.
And we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Audio Plus.